Hello, Rabbi Jamie. How are you?
I'm okay, Tara. How are you?
I'm good. At my son's flag football game.
We're in the middle of the Jewish high holidays, so there's a lot going on, and also today is a terrible anniversary for the Jewish people. So
Oh yeah, I know. Yep. Sorry for that.
I was almost going to not come to this meeting, but I have an hour or so to give, so I'm going to give it.
You going up to the JCC?
Yes, I am. But that's not till 6:30. But I have to leave. If I'm going to get close, I have to leave early to get there.
Yeah, I do understand.
Hi, Rachel.
Hello. We need one more commissioner for.
Hey everyone. Oh, sorry.
You're good.
I'm picking up 3 children from school. So for about the next 30 minutes, I'm just going to be camera off, mic off, but I'm here and I'm listening.
I think we have 3, Rachel.
We need 3 for compliance review, but we need 5 for commission.
Ah, okay. Global switch isn't a person?
That is a person, but it is not a commissioner.
Okay. I just thought it was a really fancy name.
Sorry for the off camera.
Everyone on here, we're still waiting for people to enter.
Oh, we're getting there. Here, let me promote to panelist. We've got Courtney,
Spot, right?
Jeffrey.
Oh, no, okay. Never mind.
Yeah, we have 5.
Oh, we do? Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
It's 3:31.
All right, Madam Chair.
Okay, so it's 3:31. Good evening, good afternoon, everyone. I'm at my son's football game, so it's been over now. So I'm sorry. But first, we want to just take a moment of silence, because we know today marks the year anniversary for the Palestine. So we're gonna all take a moment of silence. Today's October 7th, 2024. I'm gonna call our monthly meeting into order. We're gonna start with meeting minutes.
There was one change reported to me. Commissioner Barlow was not listed in the attendance, so I'm going to be updating the minutes for that. But if anyone has anything further, please let me know.
Next will be public comment. If there's any questions for what, unless we got any questions for what was just said, but the next will be public comment. I'll let you go.
I believe we need a vote first on acceptance of the minutes.
So moved.
Second.
Minutes accepted. Thanks for showing his hand. I didn't pay that no attention. Thanks, guys. Minutes Meeting minutes accepted. Now we'll do public comment.
I do see a few folks for public comments. But Commissioner Rossalo, you raised your hand. I just want to make sure that.
No, I just raised my hand for a second in case we were doing voting.
Okay. Thank you. All right, yeah, we do have a couple for public comment today. So I did see the folks from Global Switchboard first, if you'd like to unmute and speak to us.
Hi, Rachel. This is Maddie McGrady from Global Switchboard and Human Rights City Alliance. And everyone, hello. I actually don't really have a comment, but I did want to pop on and ask, so are these meetings public or is it just the public comment portion that is public?
No, the entire meeting is public.
Okay, great. Well, I'm just here to listen until about 4 and then I have to hop off.
Okay, thanks, Maddie. For anyone who's unfamiliar with Maddie, she's currently working for the Global Switchboard, but she works to coordinate the Human Rights City Alliance and all of their efforts. So we're working with them in the near future to have some listening sessions out in the community in October and November. So stay tuned for those. I also saw Megan Rose.
Hey there, I'm just, it's Megan from Standing Firm, a part of Women's Center and Shelter of Greater Pittsburgh. I'm just joining. I had this on my calendar to listen in. I don't have a public comment. I'm just curious about how these meetings sound and what's covered. So thanks for having me.
Thanks for being here. And then Miss Thea, I am, trying to allow you to talk here.
Hello.
Okay, we can hear you.
Hi. I just wanted to say that we are working on the 27th annual Pittsburgh Racial Justice Summit, which will be held February 22nd. That's, and we invite anyone who's interested to contact us. We will be having a keynote speaker and as well as workshops. So we'll be, providing more information in the future.
Yes, thank you, Thea. I'll make sure to get in touch soon.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, I do not see anyone else for public comment. So I think we can move ahead.
Next will be finance.
I do not see our chairperson and treasurer, Carlene King, on currently. So Courtney, do you mind giving a quick rundown?
Sure. I know some of the things that I put in my email will be covered by you in the director's report, probably. But I guess the big thing is that the preliminary budget, which I guess has not actually been finalized, but the budget that the mayor put forward did not include our $11,000 to convert our position so that we could make our admin into an outreach and intake coordinator. So that is not great. Otherwise, I think I'm pretty sure Rachel is going to do a bunch of this stuff. So not sure what else. Oh, we finally got access to our HUD funds, and we're rapidly drawing them down. So that's great. But we had permission problems for more than a year after Jan left. So
Definite win there.
yes.
Does anybody have any questions about anything in the finance realm for the commission right now? We're really open books about it. We want to make sure that you have the opportunity to ask any questions.
I have a comment.
Yes, sir.
Given what I've been reading in the last month about the state of the city's finances, the fact that $11,000 was not included was no surprise to me at all. And they're going to be cutting around the edges any way they can, facing the massive problems that they have.
It's true.
Yeah, at least we didn't get anything cut, so that's true. Good to keep in mind.
The intention is to move forward and try to make that position happen in some other way. So we are looking at what we could potentially do to secure that position in 2025, even if we have to wait until 2025 for that to happen. So I would say stay tuned for that also. And I know that Commissioner Barlow is not here to report out on behalf of the Personnel Committee.
She is out of the country right now. I don't know if she let you know.
She did, and I sent her a follow-up email and told her not to read it until she returns, so otherwise that happens. Yeah, so the brief personnel update is that we are, let me see, actually, there's a lot of it in my director's report, but the short answer is we'll be fully staffed very soon. And that it's my understanding that my review is not yet complete, but that should happen soon as well. Are we ready for community relations, Madam Chair?
We're going like community relations now, or are we done with it?
Community relations is next.
I'm happy to provide an update. Sorry for being off camera. We had some great staff updates. There has been a little bit of movement in having homelessness as a protected class, which I'm really excited to watch that move forward. The Greyhound issue, it sounds like we reached the point of potentially pursuing this independently and perhaps from more of a disability perspective than a language access perspective, given overlapping concerns in people's ability to safely just go through that transportation center. In really wonderful news, and with a caveat, the medical marijuana protection legislation passed City Council. So huge thanks to everybody for their work on getting that done. Hopefully we can continue to work to offer protections for folks and offer them resources and support as we move through implementation. We talked about having another community commission meeting, which would be lovely. We had some really good discussion about where we can do outreach that's maybe less traditional, and hopefully there'll be some follow-up on that. Speaking of non-traditional outreach, we talked about youth outreach. A lovely flyer was created. I reached out to the Mayor's Tide Youth Commission. I haven't heard back yet, but hopefully we can get some young people involved in making sure that our youth-centered materials are as effective as possible. And then, yeah, we're going to continue to move in, figure out spaces to tap in communities and neighborhood groups.
Thank you, Commissioner. All right. I'll move us into the director's report here. So the more thorough personnel and administration update is that we, after much discussion with law and the budget office, we were able to secure a waiver of the competitive process for our strategic planning contract, and we will be moving forward with that. So Amanda Nietrauer, who you all know from the first stages of our strategic planning, created her own consulting group after the interchange had dissolved. So we'll be working with Lewis Neutrauer Group moving forward, and we're working on getting that contract updated so that we can move forward, hopefully in the beginning of 2025. I was hoping for a bit sooner, but it took a little while to get that waiver through. It took some explaining. So, but the good news is that we will not lose any of the data that we've already collected. We won't lose any of that analysis, and we have someone who's already very familiar with the commission in general. We have hired an investigator. So that'll be our 4th out of 4 investigator positions. Mr. David Elwood is going to join us from the Citizen Police Review Board. I believe the first date will be October 21st. So he'll be here for our next meeting. We did hire a fall college intern as well. So Amelia Morris, I believe, had her orientation today. She's a student at Pitt, and she has a ton of experience already. Thinking about where I was as a college student, she's got a leg up on a lot of folks. So I think it'll be a really good match, and she'll be able to hit the ground running with us. And we're also in the process of finalizing 2 new volunteer mediators to work with the commission. And then also Chris and Lauren just completed their 40-hour mediation training with the Conflict Lab. So Lauren's already been doing some mediations, but now we'll have even more folks on board to help us with these mediations and conciliations as they come up. And for anyone who's familiar, we have quite a lot. We have a pretty long list right now. So it definitely helps to have as many hands on deck as possible. Are there any questions about the personnel and administration section before I move on? Okay. So cases and enforcement, I wanted to just highlight our case processing for 23 and 24 because the case processing year came to an end on September 30th. So as of the end of the case processing year, we did hit 19 housing cases, only 13 are required by HUD for our contract. We hit the 46 out of 46 employment cases. We intentionally did not close more than that because we would not get credit for them. So we are starting strong in the 24-25 case year. We did have 3 public accommodations cases completed last year as well, for which we don't respond to any kind of federal agency. And we didn't have any civil rights cases closed, but we do have a few in the works that we should be moving forward to close pretty soon. As of the date that this was sent out, so we had 55 open investigations, 42 pending intakes, 15 post-cause cases, of which 3 of those are in court, and then 12 are pending mandatory conciliation. And we have 7 cases on the public hearing track. This has actually been updated a little bit because we scheduled 2 of the public hearings last Friday. So we are looking at the public hearing that I mentioned here that's scheduled for October 29th. Please, if you're interested, please come see what it looks like. And I'll have a press release out about that shortly. And then the next 2 are on January 21st, and then in mid-February, I believe the 18th through the 20th for 2 additional employment cases. So we are moving forward with getting a few of these scheduled. We also had another person who opted to pull out of the process and opt to go to court instead. So that one is no longer on our docket, but we're still moving forward, have plenty of post-cause cases. Like I said, 12 pending mandatory conciliations. Although I think that number would need to be updated as well because Rita closed another one last week. So thank you, Rita.
Who, buddy?
And as Commissioner DeWalker mentioned, we have the medical marijuana protections for those patients now. Those were officially passed. We can take those cases now. We're working on some guidance for both employees and employers so that they know what to expect, how to interact with each other. And it's going to be something. So we've already had one inquiry. It unfortunately wasn't in our jurisdiction, but thankfully we are able to take those cases as intakes for employment, send them to the EEOC, and then they can send them to the right FEPA that can investigate that. So in this case, it would be the state commission, but at least that's a place where they can go and try to get some resolution. Any questions about the cases? So for education and outreach, we had that final City in the Streets in Homewood. That one was particularly good for networking, and I was able to connect with a bunch of different people there from the city. Honestly, I think those are just as helpful for us as city staff, and I wish that they had more like mingling events between the city departments, because a lot of us just don't know what each other does. And so that one was a success. I really like those City in the Street events. I think they're nice to be able to get out into the community. Chris was able to attend a housing resource fair on the 7th, so to give some information about fair housing. We always like to get out and do some of that because we don't see as many housing cases. We did our presentation, our monthly presentation for the Urban League for their home ownership workshop, and Jeffrey actually shadowed me because he's going to start picking up some of those presentations. Thank you, Jeffrey. And we also conducted some training for NeighborWorks and their staff because they weren't entirely sure of what we do, and they have these homeownership workshops that they do as well. And they're looking to roll us into that process. So now that we've trained their staff, given them a little bit more to chew on with regard to what the commission does, they should be reaching back out to us and letting us know when we can start collaborating on those workshops. And then Rita was able to attend last week the Natural Hair Discrimination Community Forum that was put on by Representative Latasha Mays. Thank you, Rita, for taking that on. She was actually one of the folks that was, instrumental in getting that Crown Act legislation completed for the city and doing the guidance. So I wanted to make sure that she was able to go and show her stuff. So thank you for that. So meetings and new connections. Commissioner Barlow got me connected with Pardeep Kaleka of the Hate and Bias Action Team for Not in Our Town. So I'm still working to get that scheduled, but I'm really hoping that we can get together soon and talk about how we can support each other. Commissioner Collins and I were able to attend the Pennsylvania Commission on Human Relations Beloved Communities meeting that was on the 26th for Allegheny County. They're traveling the entire state to each county to identify what the most pressing issues in each county are. I'm not sure what they're going to do with that information, but it is a very nice effort that they're going out and trying to make that personal connection with each individual county. And as a result, I'm going to try to reconnect with the Pittsburgh director, LaDawn Robinson. I actually have a meeting with her this week now, so we can collaborate on how we can move forward together. Chris and I are working with Lauren Dominic from the County Executive Sarah Namarato's office. They are working on creating a county commission that is based in enforcement in their code, and they can actually do a lot of things that they are not currently able to do as a commission. There's a lot of work to be done, but I think that this is going to be a really good step for everyone. We get so many calls from people that are just outside of the city limits, and we have nowhere to refer them except for to HUD, who is swamped, or to EEOC, also swamped, or to the state commission. And they are, I already said it, they're swamped. So we want to make sure that they have a place to go. Currently, they're looking at adding an executive director and 2 investigators to their team so that they can be able to take those cases. It will be dependent upon the budget though, so we'll have to wait and see how that goes for them. I connected with Allison Harnden and Brooke Kunish from the Office of Nighttime Economy. I honestly did not know this is one of those situations where like the intermingling of the city departments would be really helpful, because I wasn't sure the full scope of what those folks do. But it sounds like a lot of the community tension type things that we do for discrimination, they do for anything having to do with nightlife. So that does overlap sometimes. So we are looking into that, and we're looking at additional remedies for public accommodations discrimination as well. We're seeing a lot, well, they are seeing a lot in the nighttime economy of personal appearance-based complaints, sex-based. And so we're moving forward to try and create some kind of infographic that we can share out with some of those bars and restaurants in the nighttime economy so that they know what they can and can't do, instead of, referring to the Liquor Control Board's rules as if they are the only ones that are out there that they have to adhere to. They are also working to help share out our LGBTQI+ housing survey, which is lovely because that's we're hoping to get more surveys. I did get an update from our vendor today that we have about 50 completed now. but we're looking to get at least 100. And so working with the nighttime economy folks and really hitting those nightlife spots is going to be a really good way for us to get those survey responses. So I do appreciate their participation in that. Community Relations Committee has been kind of ongoing discussion of youth outreach. As Namita mentioned, we have a general flyer now that we can use to target the younger population on like what to look for in their employment and housing and like public spaces. We're looking forward to trying to do additional handouts geared towards the parents so that we can really have that be more of an interactive subject, something that they can use to converse with their children. And, you know, all of this really starts at home, the bullying, the discrimination. We want to make sure that we're hitting it where it's going to be the most impactful. So Commissioner Gibson.
Do we, if we put together this youth piece, or even just our regular pieces, do we have a distribution method to get it out to the East End Cooperative Ministries, which runs a shelter, or Bethlehem Haven, or other places where people may have been forced into terrible situations because of discrimination and may need us to investigate their cases? I just know the East End Cooperative Ministries because I've lived in the East End my entire time, but I know there are other similar agencies throughout the city.
That's a really good point. I apologize. It was EECM and what was the other entity?
Bethlehem Haven is a women's shelter.
Yeah, so we're looking at right now with the LGBT stuff, we're looking at anyone who's in like the shelter system may have been experiencing that type of discrimination. With the youth, that's another like crossover where you have all this intersectionality. And we absolutely don't have a solid plan yet for distribution of all the materials. We're kind of brainstorming different things between going to Pittsburgh Public Schools and trying to get that rolled out. They have a flyer system called Peach Jar that you can kind of send things out through. It is a paid service, so I'll have to look into what that'll run us, but it's worth it if we can reach that many parents. And then, yeah, reaching out to some of these community organizations that are supporting the folks that are feeling the effects of the discrimination will be essential. So if there's any others that you'd like to suggest that we reach out to in the immediate, please let me know. We do have our running lists of different organizations, our resource list of folks that we really work with all the time. But if there's any others.
Yeah, well, I was going to suggest that you can even poll the commissioners because each of us has different circles of involvement and influence. And we might know of things that the other doesn't know about and get all of that information to you.
Mm-hmm. Yes, that would be wonderful. I can try to, I don't know if it would be better to send something out on that or just collect it right now if anyone has suggestions.
I think you should send a follow-up email asking for suggestions. That's my opinion.
Just thought I'd ask. I know I'm already sending quite a few emails and texts and other things, so I just want to make sure I'm not bombarding, but thank you. Thank you, Rabbi. I mentioned the survey already for the LGBTQIA+ housing. We are extending that. We had it run through the end of September, but we didn't have quite enough responses. So we are extending that through the end of October. So if you can think of any other locations, please let us know. Share that on, if you want to share it on your personal social media. If you know somebody who lives in Pittsburgh, may have formerly lived in Pittsburgh and has moved, that is a part of that community and would be willing to fill out our survey, we would really appreciate it. A lot of this is going to be very enlightening for us as a commission because we just don't hear enough from this community, unfortunately, and we want to be able to build that trust. We take it very seriously. I'm already looking into next year and how we can move forward with some educational activities and being able to meet these folks one-on-one and see how we can assist. So, all right, and then I think this is the last thing on here. So the Welcoming Communities group, through the Office of Immigrant and Refugee Affairs, we're finalizing a renting to newcomers presentation. It was formerly renting to refugees, but we're doing this for all newcomers now, regardless of status, where we're trying to educate the landlords on what the pros and cons are of working with this population. I mean, and it's mostly pros, right? There are these service agencies that are here helping facilitate housing. They're giving financial support and language support and other types of supports to these folks. And we want to be able to show them that there are benefits to renting to people who may be of limited English proficiency, and that are of mixed status. Families of mixed status can still be valuable tenants. Like, so we're really trying to highlight all of those good things, but also inform them of their fair housing rights and how they cannot discriminate against people because of their limited English proficiency or because of their national origin, et cetera. So that's almost ready. That would be scheduled hopefully sometime before the end of the year, and I will let everybody know when that happens. If you have any housing providers, landlords in mind that you think would be interested in that. And that is it for my director's report. Thankfully, not quite as long as it's been. All right, back to you, Madam Chair.
I don't know, Chair, I can hear you.
Indeed. Tiara, can you hear us at all?
Yeah, what did you say? Sorry.
All right, I finished up my director's report. We're moving into old business, of which I don't know that we have any, unless anyone can think of anything.
So we don't have any old business, we have any new business?
Under new business, we do have the committee assignments.
No, read by Jamie's trying to get somewhere, so if we don't have anything else, talk about, is there committee assignments? Do we have anything to assign?
I basically did not move anyone around. I did the commissioner survey of, thank you for the folks that actually filled that out. It's really helpful to know like what things concretely you can and will commit to in 2025. But these are the committee assignments as they currently are. The only big change here is that we've moved Commissioner King to the public hearing section because we wanted to be a little bit more equitable with the distribution of the commissioners. And because we are seeing so many public hearings right now, we do need to make sure that we have enough folks on deck to take those panels. So she was willing to shift from compliance review over to public hearing. But nothing else has changed. If anyone does feel strongly enough to move into any of the other committees that are a bit less populated, so like finance or personnel, please let us know and we can definitely change up that list. And Commissioner, I do have one final piece for the agenda tonight. I did not get it added because it was kind of a last minute thing, but I asked the ethics manager, Leanne Davis, to come and speak really quickly because now that we are seeing such a high number of cases coming through and cases going to public hearing, I thought it would be worth the few minutes as a refresher to what conflict of interest looks like, or just to put it out there that you have someone that you can rely on. So real quickly, let me switch. Oh, okay, yes, we're on that, Kim. So you can.
If you stop sharing your screen, I think it might be.
Yeah, I'm gonna stay.
Okay, then. Yeah. Can anyone see me? Oh, hello.
I know it's a weird setup until we get our.
Yeah. Did everyone see the new wall color? That should be where our new screen is. If you ever want to come in and experience the new high-tech room. But my name's Leanne Davis. I'm the ethics officer for the city of Pittsburgh. Just like you have a commission on human relations that is independent from the city, so is our ethics hearing board. We're kind of set up similarly there. And I can give advice about conflicts of interest and all the other governmental ethics laws that are under our jurisdiction right now. People are familiar with us because we had that Darlene Harris campaign finance case a while ago, but we do a lot more than campaign finance. So just want to introduce myself. Our website is pittsburghpa.gov/EHB for Ethics Hearing Board. And then if you do one more slash and write the word advice, you'll get to our public advice request form, EHB, and then advice. There you go. So we have a pretty nifty form that works outside of the city portal, which is really great. And so anyone can access that and ask me a fact-specific question for advice. But I'm also here now if anyone wanted to talk a little bit. I don't know what time your meeting is supposed to end.
Yeah, I see Commissioner Gibson, you have your hand raised.
Yeah, I talk too much. You know that, Rachel. I'm on the Compliance Commission.
Okay.
I read, this month we had 142 pages of cases to read through. It's my custom that if I know anyone involved in a particular complaint or case, I recuse myself from voting on it. Is that correct?
So when we look at conflicts of interest, it can commingle with the concept of impartiality. It sounds like you want to recuse yourself from that because you don't want anyone to think that you're giving the appearance of favoritism. Is that right?
Right. I stay away from, as a rabbi, I've stayed away from the appearance of impropriety my entire career.
Okay. Yes. So that would be extending beyond the legal definition for a statutory conflict of interest.
Okay.
At the state law, it basically says that you can't use your official position and take an action with that official position in order to benefit yourself financially or your family or a business that you or your family that is associated with. So that's the state law on conflicts of interest. Our city law is hodgepodge right now, and I'm looking at updating our chapter of the law, which is 197, to match something kind of similar to what New York City does right now, which talks about how you can't use your official position to gain a private advantage, whether direct or indirect, things like that. So you, again, it's like a use of your office that would benefit yourself or your family or a business that you're associated with.
I'm not talking about those
Exactly.
at all. I'm talking about if a case were to become public, there might be a perception that I put my thumb on the scale because I knew somebody to produce an outcome. And to me, that would obviously, the appearance of that would be unethical. So I take a more strict stance than the law provides for.
Yeah, so that would be, I think, up to each little office to determine if you wanted to go beyond what the law states. Like you said, that would be going further. It's the appearance of impropriety thing. I don't know. I think we'd have to look at more of the facts there to know whether whether, like, if it's, do you know the party? Do you know someone related to that? Because I used to do this kind of work, so I know that could be a lot of people in those reports, right? It could be witnesses and things like that. One thing that might be helpful, the Citizens Police Review Board, the way that they present their reports, they have kind of like how you guys have redacted for the respondent. You should say respondent instead of the company, probably. Like something similar to that could happen for the witness, perhaps.
Okay, well,
Yeah.
again, I know Rachel will listen. I'm trying to hold out for the strongest possible ethical standard as to not have the appearance that any of us acted on behalf of somebody who has a case before the commission. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, Rabbi.
Any other questions while I've got you? I see all your screens are black, so that's great. You're not presenting any political activity. We're not allowed to have any political activity while we're on the job or in the workplace. So that's, I guess, one thing that's timely relevant now. There are also some restrictions on gifts as the, the season changes. And happy holidays to you, Rabbi. Happy New Year, right? I feel like that holiday should get more credit. It's a cheerful one, right? We should always enjoy those a little bit more. Anything else I can talk about with you guys right now? We do have a conflicts disclosure that's required each year in May. And I'm just getting, so it's due on May 1st. You can file it anytime between January 1st and May 1st. It's called the Statement of Financial Interest, or we call it the SOFI, S-O-F-I. Yeah, I think you're all familiar with it because director is on top of it. And I apologize because I remember your former name. So Director Shepherd, right? Yeah, okay. I want to call you the wrong name, sorry. So she's on top of it. She's giving you that form. But just for an anecdote, today, which is October 7th, I just became aware of the State Ethics Commission trying to do enforcement for deficient filings. So if you hear from our, they're filed with the city clerk's office. So there's someone from the city clerk's office that's trying to reach out to people to let them know that things were filed incorrectly. So it's what, literally over 5 months from when that would have been due. And so I think sometimes you get these emails like out of the blue. And so if it's helpful at all to know, it's legitimate, there's some requests for that, but anyways, I can help people with filling that out. There are a couple of terms within that form that are defined that are kind of unexpected, kind of like a person as a corporation kind of a situation, so I'm happy to help with that if that's helpful at all. And then everybody in this room needs to get ethics training. It's supposed to be an annual thing and 1 hour of ethics training. We're proposing that to be changed every 2 years. Philadelphia has it every 5 years. I'm open to feedback on what you think, but like your commission changes over time, right? Yeah. So I think every 2 years. So that is, keep that in your radar. Yeah, anything else I can help with or any other questions?
Yeah, thanks, Leanne.
Yeah.
I just when I saw you today, it reminded me that we haven't had much of a conversation about the conflicts of interest lately, and there are so many things that are hitting the public hearings stage.
Yeah.
That it's just not been, I don't know, not a highlight. Like we have confidentiality policy that everyone signs. We talk about, being neutral, and we talk about the way that we vote, but it's just not been as public as it will be soon. So it always helps to have a refresher. So I'll throw the rest of Leanne's contact information in there for you all. But if you do have any questions, please reach out to her. She is always very willing to be available, and I appreciate that. So
yeah, and you make that comment about public hearings. And if you guys are familiar with that cake shop case, where okay, I see a head nodding there. Thank you. Yes. The height was, about whether it was like your First Amendment right versus the gay wedding cake. Yeah, right. If you read that opinion, it comes out that there was a comment made during the public hearing that was viewed to be biased. And that's how it all got thrown out. So the comments that you guys can make within your public hearing and those things, it's definitely great to be cautious about those things. But you do have a Director Shepherd, and I'm sure you have a solicitor. Yeah, okay. We should be helpful with that as well.
Yeah, for anyone that's on the public hearing section, when you are on a panel, we have our general solicitor available to participate in that process and kind of guide you through it.
Yeah.
So you're never completely on your own, and if you do have questions, that's another avenue for you. But yeah, thank you. Thanks for making the time.
Yeah, I just want to say I'm a friendly person. You can ask me for advice. I'm here. All right, right down the hall from you guys too, if you
Yeah,
come in
right.
person. And I can also.
Thank you so much, Leanne.
Yeah, of course. Have a good one, guys.
Yeah, thank you.
You need a cue to get back in.
Yes, all right, well, I think that's all we have for today, unless anyone has anything additional.
So can we adjourn the meeting so Rabbi Jamie can get to where he needs to get to? Cause I don't want him to be late for his
I have-
ceremony.
I have to stay for the compliance section. Don't worry about it, Tara.
There's one more section?
Yeah, we'll
No,
get-
it's the next meeting. So can I motion
on.
to adjourn?
Second.
Thanks, everyone.
all right,
Thank
See
you.
ya.
so much, we'll see you.
Compliance section review, take a break and then we'll join up the other link. Bye.